Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back to Achieving Failure. I'm your host Chris, and we're wrapping up this season with the conclusion of my friend Joseph Lamar joining us as we talk about some crazy stories. We're talking about doing drugs, we're talking about being roommates, we're talking about the vegetarians that my friends brought over while he was dating, and being banned from Hollywood Video and not being able to rent anything anywhere. I want to give a big shout out to everyone and thank you for so much support through this entire journey. It's actually been wild and crazy. But until then, hey, thank you so much. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to keep everything up to date, doing some quick little highlight reels, maybe some special stories here and there. But we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your comments. Shoot us an email. And with further ado, let's get on to the episode.
Welcome to Achieving Failure, a podcast that gives you a break from politics, popular trends, and brings you good old-fashioned life stories that made us who we are today. Sit back and relax with your host Chris as he brings you another exciting adventure on how to achieve failure.
Hey, listen. I gotta say, we only lived together for 4 months after we got out?
Yeah.
But we had like 3 parties, man. Like, we went to Tijuana one time. We did we made the movie, right?
Yeah.
We made the Dead Wrong movie. And don't forget, what about that one where we all got crazy drunk and like Jay disappeared into the mud and going towards Tijuana, like he went into the swamp, and then we found him butt naked, like back in the house on top of the couch, like the whole living room covered in mud, and we had to break in through the bathroom. And
yes,
there was that night that you woke up and I was wearing the
the
bikini shirt.
It was one of those crazy nights. It was.
But are these all the same nights? Am I mixing up things?
I don't even know.
Are these all different nights?
I remember.
I think these are all different nights. They just happened like within 3 months.
Probably. I remember living in that condo. There was, I'll never forget, we would always go down to the Mexican restaurant and buy pounds and pounds and pounds of meat.
Oh yeah, taqueria, bro.
And that was the one time Billy was dating this chick who was a vegetarian. And I'll never forget, she came over one day and we're outside drinking beers, barbecuing as always. And I said, I don't know what you people eat, so I have a carrot. Do you people like carrots? And Billy's like, dude, she's vegetarian. I was like, well, there ain't no food in this house for this girl then. I don't know what to tell you. And he's like, dude, that's fucked up. I was like, hey, that's not my problem. And then there was the one where you're like, one of the most famous lines that I need to have in quotations is, the best way to keep from getting a hangover is to mix the Pediasure with your vodka, so you have the electrolytes and you don't get hungover.
Did I say that?
Yeah. And then you started going, dude, I'm having severe memory loss. Like, it's scary. Like, I'm losing. Like, I can't remember stuff. I said, dude, you're drinking like a bottle of Stovey every night. Like, of course you're going to have memory loss.
Listen, hey, that one girl you're talking about that Billy was dating,
yeah,
was that girl with the big ice cream cone tattoo on her arm?
I have no idea. I'm surprised I could even remember what happened 15 years ago.
I will tell you, my favorite memory about her was that we all went to like a Subway or something, and then on the way we saw like back when like Blockbuster was still open.
Yeah,
we were looking at VHSs or DVDs for sale, and I just aged the hell out of myself. VHSs, but anyway, and we were eating it. It's like it was a wings restaurant, like wings. It wasn't Subway, it was wings. And she's like, I just want the celery. I remember that. And we're all eating wings. Yeah, I remember that. And we started talking about like, hey, we all just got out of the military. We're all going to go do our thing. And she's asking like, Chris, what are you going to do? Billy, what are you going to do? And she came to me. She's like, Lamar, what are you going to do? And I'm like, man, I have this great gig lined up. My uncle has this profession. It's been in the family tree for like 20 years. but he's willing to bring me on as an apprentice. We are going to be professional baby seal clubbers in Alaska. And not only are their pelts worth like $400 a pelt, I get to bash a baby seal with a club, and their meat is delicious. And she just started crying right there. Remember that? And Billy looked at me like, you son of a bitch. And I was like, roll with it, bro. And like, we didn't tell her for like a couple of days because it was too funny. And Billy finally told it like a dork like he is. He finally ratted on us and said it was a joke. But then remember, that was whenever I was using your photo. I had just used how to learn Photoshop.
Yeah.
And I started photoshopping my face onto baby seal clubbers and sending it to her on MySpace. Anyway,
I
good times.
used to have a picture on my old Facebook that is now deleted. I think I may have it buried somewhere, but it was a picture of you that you made. And it says, "Greetings from Alaska, wish you were here." And it's a guy about to beat a baby seal over the head. And it's just you with this stupid grin on your face. I need to see if I can find it. Yeah.
That's one of the ones I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's funny. I remember that. So anyway, before we passed up that one random ex-girlfriend, that's a funny memory. I racked that girl's brain, man. She was like, this guy is going to club baby seals, and I'm just bragging about the money I'm going to make.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I always feel like we had way too much fun at other people's expense.
Oh, man, you know what? We had just enough fun, because nowadays life is just creeping up on us, and the joke is at our expense. So, you know, at least we had a fun run at it while we were younger.
So one thing that you kind of reminded me, this is a quick little segment, a quick little story, but you talked about going to Hollywood Video, or just Hollywood Video in general, and VHSs. I remember Hollywood Video would not rent to me because I borrowed, I think it was Call of Duty, one of the original Call of Duties, or Modern Warfare, whatever it was. And I held on to that game for like 6 months. And this is back when, like, hey, if you went to...
And you owed like $1,000 in background fees.
And I remember that's back when you could open up an account and they never really had a credit card. You just kind of gave them, I don't know, like a $5 cash deposit. Well, every time I went to go rent a video, they're like, hey, can't rent to you. You have a lot of late fees. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm really strapped for cash this week. Can I just pay, like, next time I rent it? They're like, oh, just this one time. I said, okay. And I continued that for about 6 months. And after 6 months, they're like, nah, we can't rent to you. You can't do anything. I said, well, how much do I owe? And they said about, it was somewhere in a ballpark about $500 to $600 that I owed them in late fees.
For one video game.
For one video game. And I said, ooh. They're like, well, so how were you gonna start? How would you like to make a payment? I said, ooh, let me come back. So I never returned.
Get back to you on that.
So I never went back to Hollywood Video. I wound up going to another video rental store, and the tomfoolery continued with that. So I went to another video store, and I started doing the same thing. Started racking up late fees till I more or less got banned. I got banned from almost every video store in Imperial Beach, and that was right there in San Diego. I remember Imperial Beach was this little stretch of little town, but I remember nobody would let me rent because I owed everybody all this money.
Your name got out. You were on the do not sell to this guy list.
Luckily for me, as fate would have it, Hollywood Video went out of business. I said, well, guess I don't owe that money. We seriously lived together for 3 or 4 months. And I gotta say, we got 4 or 5 just
epic memories in that short, like just very small window of time. Let's do one more. Let's do one more where you and I like just did it. I mentioned earlier, there's a couple more off the top of my head. The time that, I don't know, what about the t-shirt one? Like when you came out of an alcohol and drug induced coma?
That was a funny one. So that was, I don't even remember. Was it? I thought it was like Super Bowl or something. I don't know. We were back at the townhouse and drinking as always. And unfortunately, a lot of these stories back when we were younger, a lot of alcohol was consumed, and it kind of unfortunately was a big part of our stories. But I mean, it is what it is.
Dude, what is this? Are there children listening to your podcast? What are you doing apologizing?
I mean, it's just one of those, like, somebody was like, one of my family members was like, "Oh, is all your stories about drink?" And I was like, "No, not all of them, but some." But I woke up, and it was one of those waking up to almost like a second fever dream nightmare, because I woke up and Billy's crying, arguing with Jay. Jay is hysterically crying and apologizing about, I don't know, because it was over something weird. Like, Jay thought he might have slept with Mary, but he doesn't know, and Billy's upset because he's married to Mary, and I'm just like, what the hell? What? How? What? When did this happen? And
on, man.
Okay, whatever. But where the fever dream ramped up to 1,000 was, I look at you, and in my blurred vision, you're wearing this bikini.
I got it, dude.
You have it? You have it?
I just dug through one of my drawers. I'm like, I think I have it.
Oh my God. It was a... Now you gotta, Lamar, how tall are you? You're 6'2"? 6'3"?
Yeah, I'm 6'6".
You're 6, Jesus Christ. Okay, so imagine
Hey, hang on. Here, check this up. So you're in this fever dream. You're in this fever dream. Hang on. You wake up, and I'm like this.
Yes, and it had the belly button ring too. That's what like really that's what threw me off. Is I was like, why are you wearing a bikini? And is that a belly button? What the hell? I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on? And with that, Jay goes, I don't want to live anymore, and just goes running out the front door, just throws the front door open and just runs out the front door and into the darkness. And we just said, what the hell was that all about? Like, what?
So no, but you didn't paint it quite right. So
well, that's from my view. I don't know what the hell I woke up to.
But I'm gonna clarify. First of all, that was the night where you got teabagged by me.
Yeah.
I didn't touch, my balls never touched, but it was a funny picture, and you deleted it from the movie. I still want a copy of that.
No, it's in the video.
It's not. You deleted it.
No, it's back.
All right. Well, I want to see it.
It's back.
I never touched you with my penis or my balls, so it was a total fair picture. So anyway, that we're just having, so look, we're having a clown of a time. I bought this, and you were, what did you say, Imperial Beach? Oh, I'm sorry, this says Hawaii. I got.
Well, we were in Imperial Beach
anyway,
when all this happened, but
we were in Imperial Beach. So you get like blackout, whatever you did, drugs, alcohol, I don't know. You were on the couch, and it was early. It was like 5, 6 o'clock. Like, it was early, and you're done. And so the rest of us proceed to get like clinically dangerously inebriated. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, it's just like one of those things, like if you see me wearing this shirt for long enough, you're not going to notice it, right? So I just put the shirt on as a joke. Jay and Billy completely have forgotten I'm wearing this shirt. It's no longer part of the equation. It's no longer like drawing attention. So it's just normal to everybody in the room that I'm wearing this shirt. And then Jay starts telling Billy, like, he gets emotionally invested, like emotionally, like, I have to tell you something. It's been on my heart for a long time, brother. And he went all Hulk Hogan on him and was like, I don't know if it was a dream or if it really happened. And then he gets on his hands and knees, grabs him by the hands, and just apologizes and cries and starts begging him for forgiveness. And at that moment is when you come to. You're not quite used to this yet. and you see Jay on his knees basically proposing to Billy, like with his hands, and he's just crying. And he's like, I'm sorry, I might have had sex with your wife, but I'm not sure.
I don't know.
And just everybody looked at you because you go, what the fuck is going on? And we all make eye contact, your eyes bulge, and that's whenever Jay was like, I don't want to live anymore. And he took off running into the swamps at 3 a.m. in the gap between San Diego and Tijuana.
Yeah, down behind our condo, there was this massive estuary. And he just took off running into the estuary. And, I mean, we didn't see him for hours. And...
like 4 or 5. It was a long time.
Like, we just gave up, and we just went to bed. We're like, whatever. I mean, okay, the right thing would do is, hey, let's go look for our friend. But our extent was we stuck our head out the door and said...
No, you're full of shit. We spent 4 hours walking through the swamp, and then when we came back and the sun was out, so it was at least 7 a.m. We came back and the door was locked and we couldn't get in. So we jimmied the bathroom window open in the front of the house. And I should have been you because I'm too big for this shit. But I wormed through, went into the living room. You remember this?
Yes. Now I do.
And then tell your viewers what you saw when you walked through the front door.
Jay was shoeless, covered
butt naked, face down in the couch, covered in mud. You're being kind.
I don't want to think about it. Because, I mean, Jay was like this long-haired, skinny, hippie nerd guy. So I just always saw was a chapped white ass.
Dude, he was butt naked, face down in the couch. And the whole couch and the carpet was covered in mud because he'd swam in mud all night. And then we were like, fuck this, we're going to bed.
That was... I guess what I'm doing is I guess I'm mixing it up with the time you and I rode bicycles to the bar. We rode it through the estuary, and then every time we did our workout bicycle routes through the estuary, we always complimented our good hard work with going to the bar. And we got so hammered that we tried to ride the bicycle home, and the bike was not having it and wanted to ride me home. So every time you looked over, there's Chris again, laying under the bicycle, just got trapped again. And I remember I came home, I woke up the next day just laying on a pile of just dirty laundry.
No, we both got screwed that night because I've gotten drunk a bunch since then, and I don't think ever I could not ride a bike, but for whatever reason that night I couldn't ride a bike. Like, I don't know how you get so drunk you can't ride a bike. So I mean, like, I don't know how you can't ride a bike, but for whatever reason you and I both experienced the same phenomenon at the same time, too drunk to ride a bike. So we were helping each other stay up, and we both found a big bush that we could hide our bikes in and then come back the next day. We came back the next day and that shit was stolen, bro.
Yep, gone. Gone.
What's got gone. Good times, dude.
But
I gotta tell you, Chris, man, rear bait. um, it's it's been an absolute pleasure kept catching up with you, man. I try as hard as I can to keep in touch with because I'm one of those guys that like it ain't about blood when it makes family, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And when you connect with a dude, a homeboy like you and I have, we can go a couple years without talking, we're still family.
yeah.
And my kids are still going to call you uncle, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool that you got this thing going, and I appreciate you inviting me on, and really enjoyed the banter and remembering some old crazy tales that we got to experience together.
There's one in particular. I don't want to actually go into detail, but I want to talk about the story you told me when you were sleeping in a tent, when you were living in a tent.
I did have cabin fever, man. You know, you're actually pulling up a memory that's really, really far gone. I'll try to remember. And so I went to this head shop, and they had all these herbs on the wall, and they were like things like shaman, like Indian herbs you could do. And I was like, well, why not, right? Like let's take a journey. And man, I took several different things. I don't even know what they're called. I will definitely say never do
There was salvia.
salvia.
Yeah.
Now, I highly recommend don't do that.
Oh,
I'll say just don't do it. It's pretty intense, it's pretty hardcore, and it just some people have good things. Most people have their face melt off, and it just goes crazy. And that's one of the things I did. There was some other stuff, and I don't remember the names, but you would like roll like a joint and smoke it. It was like a cigarette, no big deal. And you would drink like a tea, and that tea tasted like butthole, like butthole and skunk with a skunk butthole, and somebody peed in it. It's like the worst thing you could possibly try to ingest, and you're sitting here going, how important is it for me to have this trip, you know? But you're young, you know, like you're 21, 22, 23, or I was anyway. And yeah, man, that night, nothing, no visuals, no dreams, anything. Woke up the next day, my hippie roommate was like, hey man, how was it? I'm like, nothing happened, man. Nothing happened. And then in my trip, like I woke up like the next day, like 2 days after taking it, I woke up and everything was kind of like, you know, water or whatever, but it was like totally as real as right now. And this dude came in my room, and he had like filed down teeth. And I reached back and I grabbed an empty liquor bottle, and I went to hit him. And right as I was about to hit, everything froze, and I woke back up in the same position. And I got back up, and the same guy was there, and I was like, oh shit. So I grabbed the bottle. I knew it was already there. At first I was panicked. Now I'm like, oh, I know where the empty bottle's at. So I'm like, I'm ready to defend myself. And I go up, and this dude just like, and I'm going to do this. It freezes. And then I get up again, and I'm like, no. Like, this is the moment where you're like, no. Am I stuck in this forever? So the same thing, grab it. I go down. As soon as it hits, it does actually make contact. I'm back in bed. And look, I guess what only makes this entertaining is that I'm taking all kinds of legal substances right now, but lots of them. Like I'm doing all the everything on the wall that is not going to be regulated. I'm smoking and drinking teas, and I'm doing all this stuff. And so anyway, like that guy, and then I wake up back in bed, and I wake up and the guy's not there for the first time in like 5 or 6 trips in a row. And like, I'm like, is this real? I think this time is real, but I don't know. Run out, and my friend's in the room, you know, the hippie guy. And he's like, nah, man, just a trip. You're good. And I'm like, okay. And so we hugged and everything. But then the very next night, I haven't taken anything else more. My whole day is totally normal. And then it's a totally different trip the next day. So,
oh my God, if I could get my hands on salvia again,
dude, I can't believe that I've never heard anybody say like, I just love salvia. It's always some kind of like weird spiritual experience. Some people meet the devil, and some people like come out on the other side going, oh, well, it was just like getting high for 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, I had a little bit of everything, and I had like one bad trip, but I mean, it was a shit show. But I'll tell you about that next. I'll tell you about that another time.
Well, just so you know, I'm yours, baby. For those who can't see the video, I got my legs spread and I got my my bikini shirt on.
There we go. That's my that's gonna be the title card for the video. Joseph, pleasure. It was awesome to actually get to chat it up with you again. It's been forever. So I look forward to part 2, part 3, or whatever, and hopefully I'll have my friend Joey on here so we can share him the Nimitz story, or the sandwich story, because he's never heard that one before. I mean, I might have told him the story, but he's never heard it from both perspectives.
We both had different angles, and we were both charged with felonies, and we were both what you might call conspiracy theories, because we had all that shit swept under the rug, man.
Yep. And I know somebody somewhere out there also has heard about it and knows something.
Well, if you remember, I grew up on a gun range, and my aunt called in a favor to the FBI. We'll cover it again when we do the story, but I actually, I grew up in, you know me, dude. We'll cover all that those details when the time comes, but to reciprocate the affection, brother, your family, I love you, and I truly appreciate you having me on your podcast.
Mr. Lamar, thank you once again. Check out his band, Joe, whatever. What was your band called again?
Joseph Lamar and the Regulators.
Thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Later, brother.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. For more info, find us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you have a story you'd love to share, shoot us an email at aflvpodcast@gmail.com. That's AF, Achieving Failure, LV, Las Vegas, podcast@gmail.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.